Wow. I love that jam.
I do.
That jam. The Doc Mystic. Should we play it again for the Doc?
I heard it. I was just in.
There we go.
Jamming.
I did that so he couldn't comment or gripe.
Fight me.
Oh, my. Welcome to the Nocturnal Feeding Show.
Also known as the Hair Club for Men Club.
Yeah,
Yes.
We're all pretty much bald here.
That's it.
Even
I'm a,
Vinay.
ju-
Don't let him
I'm,
fool
a,
you.
ju- I'm a junior member right at the moment. I'm closing in, though. I'm closing in.
Oh, my. It's funny. So tonight, Ed's not with us because he is at a wedding.
Yes. That's a very good friend. His best friend.
No, Ed's not getting married, but someone he knows is getting married.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
one a very good friend of his that's getting married. So I figured, and then James ended up streaming earlier today. He has some projects going on. I was talking to him a little bit, and then I jumped in his stream. I think it was like sometime in the afternoon he had it, and he was feeding his fish. And he said he had some projects going on at this time that he's going to have help. So, I was like, man, I don't blame you. You move into a place and you got stuff to do. You got stuff to do.
Yep.
Exactly right.
And it gets crazy. I know all about the projects. There's a lot of projects around here that needs to be done, especially in the fish.
Yeah.
I know
That's
all
what I'm
about
doing right now. Oh. I fell down. Oh.
Can't get up.
Oh. Man.
face. Go ahead and say some hellos. There ain't that many people in here. They're not used to me streaming at this time of night. I'm like, what I used to do. We got Linda Worth was the first one in. Metalheads.
Hello.
Carol Fox. Jenny Lynn. Cora Works. Richard Reynolds. There's that Doc guy. And then Dennis Christensen.
P.
There's somebody knocking on the front door here. I don't
Who's
want
there?
I want to say back door because she might get offended.
Yeah, let's not say back door.
Hey, Steph.
And so
Wait. You didn't tell me she was going to be here.
Oh, it's her. It's her again.
Listen,
Man.
you ain't the only one to get people from California up on your live streams.
I think there's too much testosterone going on. That's why I had to join.
okay.
Yeah, we're filled with it. Yeah, that's why people go bald. That's why men go bald, because the testosterone blocks
what
their
it
hair
is?
follicles. It's true.
It must be true. He's got a doctorate.
That's right. I have it.
Hey, June.
It must be
We also
true.
had, only Oscars come in. Nathan,
Hello.
his last name, Pave. My crazy sister-in-law's here, Missy.
Missy,
Yeah.
your
So-
wife's sister or your brother's wife?
Oh, that's my wife's sister.
Okay.
She's crazy.
She a
I
fish?
married the same one.
She like fish?
Actually, she does. She has two tanks in a pond right now.
Really?
Ah,
That's cool.
that's how it starts.
Oh yeah,
That's awesome.
They get that basement finished, and they give me free reign. It's game on.
That's
Yep.
it. Now you know have some place to put all those tanks you've been picking up.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because I got some 15 gallons to pick up down in Maryland too.
Maryland?
Yeah,
Hey, from this jerk.
there's a jerk down there in Maryland.
Oh, okay.
Jerk.
So Richard Reynolds just asked, I'm not trying to hijack anything, but how
There
the
you are.
the zebras
Do
are
it.
doing. Well, it's easier just to say it than type it, but I had to I had to kind of pause putting them in my 20-gallon rack. I just had a lot going on the last couple of weeks, but I've got a group of 6 zebras. They're adult size and breeding size, and I have a rack of 320 longs that I need to get them put in. That's the goal. They should be breeding, hopefully, fingers crossed soon.
Yeah, I'm getting a group of butterfly plecos.
I've heard of those.
Yes.
That's cool.
They're being
Awesome.
given to me.
Butterfly plecos.
Yes.
I
I
gotta
don't know
look
their L number.
I got to look them up really quick.
They're
'cause-
Brazilian. They're Brazilian small pleco.
I'm sorry. Any fish that hides 90% of the time it's in the tank, I don't need.
Yeah, it's definitely a labor of love. Like, you really got to be into them.
Yeah. Because you see them and then 2 years go by and then you see them again.
Well, I think also too, it depends on how your tank is set up. Like, if they're set up really for the plecos and the way you have your caves and your decor, like you'll see them a lot more often than you think. It just depends on how you got your caves and your tank set up.
Yep.
But
So
no,
that's it right there.
Yep.
they're pretty.
Yep.
Wow.
Oh, very nice.
I want some.
Well, you have fish that I want, so you have those Cuban live bears.
Yeah, and I think they had more babies again.
That's what live bears do.
Yeah, I need to. I got to do something about that.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
finally getting my G'dayids from Skull. The
Ooh,
weather,
nice.
Oh, sweet.
Kansas finally thawed out.
Yeah, he's going to start shipping next week, I think.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
said Monday he's going to ship out.
He won't answer me on which G'dayids he has available because he's shipping me fish, but he won't tell me what G'dayids. I told him I'd buy some, but I guess he does. I don't rate with him in buying G'dayids off of him.
Well,
You got to know somebody.
I guess so.
all right, Messi, you got a lot to learn here. It ain't just one. You never get just one fish. You got it. I'm gonna have to train you better
One fish, you got one fish.
because I need one of those zebras. No, you need more.
Well, one of those zebras will cost you about $150.
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah, that's the going rate for them online. But if you play your cards right, you can, I've learned how to sweet talk women into giving me fish.
Mm. How come I don't believe that?
I sweet talk my wife and she lets me buy fish, so that's kind of like giving me fish.
Oh, okay.
This is funny. Michelle says current situation: watching her honey grommy Bob fail fry control as one of the guppies is in active labor.
Oh boy, this way.
Man.
Oh man. Well, he's actually going to be Curtis Skull Aquatics is going to be with us on May 13th.
Oh, on the auction.
Yeah,
That's cool.
we're going to have some. We're going to have a couple different things actually this time around.
That's nice. You're going to have couple different things. I'm glad they're not all the same.
Well, maybe they are, maybe they aren't.
My Malawi shrimp may or may not be on there again.
Oh, very cool.
I've got so many. If you guys I've got hundreds and hundreds. If you guys are interested, please email me.
Hey, Doc,
Dog
Yeah.
stuff?
just because you live up the street from her doesn't mean you get free shrimp.
I
Well,
told her I would buy them. I already emailed her or texted her. I don't know what I did to her. Whatever I did.
we were texting at that point.
Okay.
I mean, does anyone else have Malawi shrimp that they literally they multiply triple their forces every other day, or is it just me?
Just you, Steph.
Yeah, I think it's you.
Yes,
There's a lot. There's a lot.
You spit in the water, that helps.
Well, they're awesome. They're very easy to care for. I'm enjoying mine.
Thank you. Yeah. And as they get older, there's shades of color. Like I'm noticing even now, like I've had them since Kenny's Fishtoberfest last year. Like some of the older ones, like their colors are getting even more cool. Like the shades of blue and gray and rust and yellow. They're super cool.
We got Kenny came in, fishfam.link. Stephen P. 2003 showed up. There's the geek boy.
Only Oscars.
June's here, yeah. She's going to email Steph, take some of her fish off her hands.
Yeah, I got a lot of 236s also, if anyone's interested. The RB line.
Very nice. Very nice fish.
Is that the ones I helped you bag up in Portland?
Yeah.
Boy, those are pretty.
Those are pretty fish.
Yeah, they were very nice.
Richard Reynolds asked about the Malawi shrimp parameters. So the thing that's cool about them is they're a Caridina species, but their parameters are so wide ranging. Like they can handle a GH of like 2 to like 14, a KH of like 2 to like, 10 or whatever. So a pH of like 7 to 8.5, but I keep them in lower pH and stuff and lower GHs, and they're like breeding me out of house and home. But they can tolerate a huge change in parameters or a huge variety of parameters and be just fine. That's what's great about them.
Howdy, John. Surf City's here.
Surf City. And Mike's Aquatics and Things.
Yeah, I can't do shrimp. Too many cichlids.
Yeah. They're a little tasty protein snack for them.
That's exactly right. Crunchy little crawly snacks.
Yeah.
It's like brine shrimp, right? It's like just a little bit bigger.
And
your cichlids would have a field day on them shrimp.
and then I got the the ram's horn snails that came with a plant order. Free food. I throw them in this one tank with these wild caught laticaras I got. Those shells don't even make it to the substrate. They pull the snail right out of the shell. They suck it right out.
Okay,
It goes from red to clear like that.
there's your remedy, Skipper.
Yeah, what fish was that again?
It's a lot. I got them at the Triple Crown at the auction. They're wild caught laticaras. They got considerably larger than I thought they would because I had another laticara species. They're about that big. Well, the ones I brought home from the auction now are this big.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
So, because it's an undescribed species, so nobody could tell me what they were going to grow into.
Show your batch of snail, Skip, that you took out of a tank.
Yeah, I can mail these to you if you need some food.
Yeah, I have 3 tanks I pull snails out of just for those fish. That's they see me coming and they're just sitting there like this at the top of the water, just waiting for those snails to drop in.
You
That's
know,
funny.
They're like puppies.
Skipper Corey Doris love smashed shrimp. Smashed snails.
Well, that's good to know.
When I do
Smash
water
them.
changes, I smash a few here and there, and they go crazy over.
Yeah.
I have done that.
Some
Yes,
people,
man, quite a few.
there's one catfish breeder, Corey Doris breeder, who says that actually helps Corey's breed when he does lots of smashed snails for him because it really boosts up their protein intake.
With a lot of food, right? Yeah, absolutely.
That's cool.
Interesting. May have to do that.
Smash away.
Good to keep me around once in a while.
Yeah, I knew he's good for something.
Yeah. My wife doesn't know yet what I'm good for, but I'm glad you realize I'm good for.
I think your wife knows best, though.
Because why?
I think she may like me better than she likes.
Yeah, I think so. We'll ask her when she gets home.
I don't want to see you get beat up whenever she gets home. We're good.
Yeah.
Does anybody get any new fish lately?
I have some licorice grammies.
I love my licorice gouramis.
Yeah, I set up a blackwater tank in my fish room.
Are you going to try to breed them?
I don't know. I've always liked them.
They're
put
so
them in,
pretty.
and I put in my my betta hendra. Well, I only thought I had 2 males. I ended up having 4 males and 1 female. And I should have separated out the female and one of the males, but I just threw them all in the same tank. So if they breed, they breed. If they don't, no big thing.
Yeah, I would love to get mine to breed. I set up like a tank to where like there's a cave or two. You know, they make bubble nests, I believe,
Yeah.
and the males do a lot of the rearing. But
Yeah, they make bubble nests inside a cave. That's normally what most of them do.
yeah, and the males are they're all both male, female are gorgeous, but
Yeah.
males and their finnage is just they're incredible.
I have 10 of them. You know, they're only an inch long, and they're in a 75-gallon tank. So I haven't seen them.
Did you say they're in a 75?
Yeah, with the 5 betta hendras. I put in some Medina shrimp in there too.
Yeah.
Who's making all this noise?
Not me.
Stephanie.
I don't, Skipper. Calm down,
No.
Skipper.
Nice try. It's you.
Vinay.
Whoa, whoa. Such anger. Such anger. Sorry. I'm working in the fish room, literally.
I got dogs snoring over here too. I apologize.
You call your
man.
husband a dog? That's terrible.
What's
Oh,
that?
no.
You call your husband a dog?
No.
He said no.
Don't ever let that come out. But no. My daughter has these 2 French bulldogs that she's with my mom today, not here, but I watch them throughout the day, but they're so damn cute.
They're very cute. They're beautiful. You got that Merle. That one's that Merle with the eyes. Like, oh,
He's the one that's snoring right at my feet.
so beautiful.
They're very sociable, so it's like they always have to be around you, and they're very needy. But they
And the other one's like a blue sable one, was kind of like very pretty.
yeah, they're
Makes me miss my Frenchie.
So what are my thoughts on Moina? They're tiny, so they're actually good for really small fish. So that's what I have a culture of Moina that I was using to feed my the licorice gouramis, and I guess I over harvested because the last few days I have not been able to harvest a single Moina. They're not as fast growing or reproducing as it seems as normal Daphnia. So they're a tiny Daphnia, basically what they are.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, I was talking to him because he's actually going to be on. Richard is going to be on the auction too. I was talking to him about what fish he's going to put up, and we got to talking about stuff for breed for your fry, and he brought that up, and he started telling me about it, and I was like, wow. Never knew that. Like, I never even heard of him. And he said he's been watching some videos and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, well, it just blew my mind. I was getting a lot of information. I couldn't really, it wasn't sinking in today. You know how it is when you get a bunch of stuff on your mind.
I understand.
I had a good culture going the summer before last. And it was great. I was feeding it green water, and then it crashed. I don't know what I did wrong.
It can be tough. You got to make sure you harvest too. It's one of the biggest things to remember to harvest and feed them to your. I have 2 cultures going right now too. That's kind of what happens to me. I forget to feed them.
It could have been the bleach that I spilled in there too. I don't know.
Yeah, that doesn't help sometimes. Yeah, I can see that.
That might be it.
Sounds like some weak Daphnia, but okay.
Yep.
I got the Magna. Daphnia Magna going on there.
I want to ask you a fish biology question.
Who?
Everybody. Because
Okay.
this came up in my class. I teach fish biology on
The answer is
Tuesday
yes.
and Thursday. No. So
Caudal fin,
Nano Aquarium guy says, "Hi, Dee Dee. Hello, family shoal."
guppy.
What's
Oh,
the
that's
difference
cool.
between a shoal and a school of fish?
A shoal is loosely swimming.
Yes.
A school
Right.
is tight.
Yeah.
No, that's
Like
the difference between a polarized and non-polarized school.
The who?
There's a polarized school, which is they're all in formation. A
You're making this up.
non-polarized school is they just go all over the place.
You're making this up as you go along, Doc.
No. So a shoal is just a group of fish. That's all.
That's what I was going to get at. It just means it could be a different. It doesn't matter what the fish is. It's a group of them
Yeah,
together.
just a group of fish together. They could be hanging out on the bottom, and that's a shoal of fish. Schools normally refer to swimming fish. Very
Swimming
good.
in a direction together.
So if they're hanging out on the bottom, were they drinking?
If they hang out with Skipper, yeah. They've been drinking.
You know,
Yep.
it's fun.
So we give Stephen P. A for the day.
The behavior is specific.
Yeah, it's a schooling is a specific behavior.
Absolutely, it's defined behavior.
So I thought, then we have long family show. I could have, I guess he has a lot of fish just hanging out together.
Michelle said she found two tiny Hillstream loaches in her community tank. They bred and she didn't know it.
That's good.
Oh wow, nice.
Yeah, that's another fish that tends.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
I find
Yes,
stir
they
by
do.
quarries in my canister filter every time I clean it.
Wow.
It's a factory. I don't know. Every time I pour it out, there's about half a dozen stir by swimming around in the sink. Can't figure it out. There's an intake sponge, but somehow those eggs seem to get through it and they settle in the top tray of the canister.
We always find a way, seems like always.
Well, what saves them is the type of canister I have. It's an Eheim. So the water comes into the top, goes all the way down through the bottom, and then comes back out to the top again. So they get stuck in that top tray. It's unlike a Fluval that it has to go through the pump to go through the whole thing.
That's interesting. Huh. So what do you do with them whenever you find them? I hate to ask.
I just dump them in the discus tank with their parents. That's all. They're usually about. And the thing with the Eheim, it's green plastic, so it's transparent. So the Cory fry have eyes, so they're not blind. I just put them. They have all their pigmentation. They're just miniature versions. So I guess the light that goes. I have a light in the cabinet, and whenever I turn the light on, it's enough for them to do whatever they need to do to develop pigment. And I put them in the tank, and they grow out like a normal Cory.
Yeah, I killed mine somehow.
Your babies?
My stir-bys. I woke up. You talking about that tank?
Yep, that tank. There you go, Doc. There's my discus.
Wow, those are pretty.
And I keep them with angelfish.
Nice.
What size tank is that, Paul?
120.
What a beautiful tank.
Thank you. So right now there's, I think I have 10 discus in there now. The biggest one is about 6.5 inches.
Wow.
So the one that's swimming between the two discus on the right side, there's one that's coming up to split them. That discus is 6.5 inches right now.
Wow.
What
That's awesome.
about that, huh?
That's pretty crazy.
So, yeah, that's those are that's the reason I put this tank in is for discus.
And you have stir buys in that tank too.
Oh yeah, right now there's rummy nose, cardinals, pencilfish, Beckford's pencilfish, Siamese algae eaters, stir-buys, Julii, and Agassizii cories in there.
It's gorgeous. What's your substrate, Paul?
I want to say it's been so long.
Is it that Sarah? That little, it's like this little round.
It's a little black substrate. I don't even remember what it is. This tank has been set up the longest. I think this is actually the only tank. This is actually the only tank I have that does not have natural gravel in it. All the rest of my tanks are the substrate's gravel.
So there's a Sarah brand that Rachel O'Leary did a video on once, and it is my favorite substrate. It's just like little black, flattish, like little stone, and I forget the name of it.
It's a black gravel. It's sub pea size.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, it's been in there for 8 years. I forget what it was that I got, but works great. That tank also I have 2 filters in it. I have the Eheim canister, and then I found I wasn't getting enough flow in the tank, so I got one of those Marine Lamb Magnums. Internal, and that water is crystal clear now.
Nice.
Oh yeah, I use one of those as well.
No, there's no crap in the water. I mean,
polisher, yeah.
Yeah, it pushes between. It actually has the cartridge in it. It looks like an oil filter.
Yes.
But it pushes the water around to get it back to the canister intake. Because the intake and the return are both on the same side of the tank, because this tank is built into a wall, so I can't have one side intake, one side return. Just didn't fit that way. So
right.
So it moves the water around, and don't let anybody tell you discus don't like flow. They swim in it. They play in it.
Yeah. So do you have to clean out that Magnum? I'm not super familiar with it, but do you have to clean that out every now and then?
I break it down every week.
Okay.
Or every time I do a water change, I pull it.
Yeah.
And then I just rinse it out. I have 2 of them, and after about a month or so, I switch out the cartridges, and I stick it in the one that I pulled out in bleach and water. And I just let it sit there, and for about a couple of days, then I empty it and I rinse it out with fresh water.
Nice.
So, and in fact, at one point, I had an issue with the impeller on the Eheim. So that canister, the Magnum, took care of that 120-gallon tank by itself for about a week. Because Eheim parts are not easy to find anymore.
Yeah.
So it took me a little while to get the impeller. So I bought a couple of impellers, and I got backups now.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, I don't know. With all my Pleco tanks and even the Panox, oh my God, I'm still trying to figure out the best type of filtration for Panox. Filter floss I'm changing every couple of days.
Well, it's because they're eating all that wood.
It's intense.
I will tell you that everybody complains about cleaning canisters.
They want to say hi to you.
That's the
Yeah,
easiest
coming
capture
from-
I've ever had.
With a
I mean,
magnum,
Yeah, the Eheim takes me the Eheim, the big one.
the
It
can.
takes, it takes me 15 minutes.
Hi, Renee.
Hi, Renee.
How are you?
Good.
The way better half.
Renee, hit him on his head.
Hey,
Pat
keep
him on
telling
his
them
head.
that.
Now I have to be nice to you, Skipper.
That's right.
Yeah,
She'll set you
That's what
straight.
he does.
That's
awesome.
Has anyone had success with breeding any type of species lately, or you've had species for a while and now they're really active in breeding a lot?
Yeah, this Barbados just laid eggs again today.
Yeah, but are you raising them? Are they raising the babies?
Oh yeah, I have a
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to do something here soon, I'm sure.
I got Apistos that are constantly
Going
breeding.
to town.
Yeah, I got their Nidzenis, and it's got to be the butt ugliest tank I have. It's got blackbeard algae in it. They love it. The fry go in there, and all they do is they pick at the blackbeard algae, whatever's growing on it,
The microfauna and microlife in it.
and they just go to town on it. You just see them picking at it. So it's a factory. Every 2 months, I'm pulling out stuff to bring to my club auction
Nice.
because I don't ship.
You should. What's up, Fish Rumor?
Hey, Steve.
Fish groomer, huh?
Fish Rumor.
I know.
That's a really good fish breeder there.
He spreads rumors about fish.
But how to breed them? He's a pretty good breeder.
Yes, he is. He knows what he's doing.
He does. He really does. Little secret. He's a secret in a fish, fam. That's what I say.
Yeah.
Tell us his secrets then.
Just his breeding, how he breeds, what he breeds, the quality of them. It's just. I have several of Steve's fish are here in my room. They're great fish. Very
Those
happy.
are your feeder fish, right?
Yeah.
I couldn't resist that. I'm sorry.
my feeder angels
Yeah.
and rainbows. No, Steve's a great guy. Like many in the fish fam. So many good hobbyists, aquarists out here.
Nathan Hovey has a bunch of pepper, Cory fry, and more hatching. Almost all the eggs are hatched through. That's awesome.
Nice.
Pepper as in Paleotis.
I don't know, the pepper, Cory fry, whichever those are.
I think they're Paleotis.
That's normal. Yeah, that's normally the Paleotis.
Not
Stop.
long fin, not the disgusting long fin.
Oh, you don't like the long fin, Doc?
I just make fun of them,
Okay.
because that Skipper has them. That's why I was making fun.
No, he gets mad because they can grow longer hair than him. That's why he gets mad.
Okay,
Their dorsal fin is longer than the one strand on the top of his head.
okay, Kettle.
Oh, I know. That's why I
Oh, my
like
God.
it. I wish I had that.
Skipper, is Cory Adorable Callie Aquariums? Is her name Callie?
Yeah, no, it's Jess, but I think she's having computer issues.
Okay.
Why is she having issues?
I don't know. She can't hear us. Everybody's gone.
Mm-hmm. It's a conspiracy.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I mean, it's, whatever. It happens.
Technical difficulties, man. The struggle is real.
Man, a lot of that's been going on the past few weeks.
Maybe we're having solar flares.
Probably.
Maybe, some country is blocking.
It's Chinese weather balloons.
That's what it is. Yes.
Nathan says it's his first time with them actually making it to hatching. Third and fourth time she's laid eggs. but before they didn't make it, super happy.
All right, Skip. Here you go. Here's mine.
Oh man, that's no. I'm sorry. This is the best dog.
What kind of dog is that, Paul?
Not a dog. It's a Shetland pony.
It's a Cane Corso. He's an
Oh,
Italian.
they're great dogs. Italian Corsi Masters, man. Those are great dogs.
Yeah, this is my buddy, my shadow.
Oh, man.
He's 12.
Oh,
Wow, that's a great age, Paul, for a Cane Corso. That is great.
Yeah, he's the breeder I got him from. She breeds for health and temperament. Do
you know his lines? Do you know his bloodlines?
Oh yeah. I have his pedigree. He's yeah. She if you go into if you went into her to buy to get a dog, and if you asked her about color, she'd throw you out.
Right, because she's breeding for she's not breeding for color. She's breeding for type and temperament and health. And
if you went in, I don't want to tell you how many people went into there. He's a blue, and
yep, that's what they want.
Yeah, and
like the merle.
And he, I didn't want a specific color. I said blue would be great, but black is fine. You give me a brindle, I don't care.
Oh, I love brindles.
I want a healthy dog.
You wanted another blonde.
Yes.
Yeah, and he the funny thing is that before so I met him when he was 2.
Wow.
And he so she was looking to place him. My wife and I were down here finalizing our builder. So we were down here interviewing builders, and I stumbled on her on Facebook, and she said, "Well, when you're in the area, come visit." So we went to visit, and the visit turned into a 2.5, 3 hour interview. So
how it should be.
She showed me she showed me some puppies, and then I said, "Look, my wife's never lived with a puppy before. I prefer an older dog." So she showed me him. He took to me right away. So she offered him to me, and I told her, "I'm not going to be down here. I'm not going to be, moving down here for 6 months." I was still working at the time, and she said, "Well, I'll hold him. When you come down, you come get him." I said, "Well, look, if you find another home for him that you think is suitable, don't hold him for me," because she was looking to put him in his forever home.
Right.
Because he had been a show dog, and she had too many males in the house, too small a house for too big a dog. She had two more that were bigger than him. One of them was 160 pounds.
Oh yeah, they can be big dogs.
So she said, "Okay." So about a month or two after I was down there, I had sent some stuff through Amazon, some toys and some stuff. So this guy was bugging her about him. So she says, "Okay, why don't you come over and take a look?" And she talked to him. She goes, "Well, let's go out and meet the captain." That's his name. His name's Captain Morgan. And she said, "Let's see how he interacts with you." So she takes one of the balls I sent down. Now, I had never touched this. This came from Amazon, so my scent was never on this ball. He says, throw the dog the ball. So he throws the ball. Captain goes up to it, sniffs it, lifts his leg, takes a leak, and walks away. She says, "Not for you."
that's funny.
So he just they're very dedicated to their families.
Right.
They're very loyal dogs.
I mean,
great guard dogs.
I don't walk around with him on a leash on the property. I'm not fenced in. He just walks the perimeter. And then if he doesn't see me, he's got to go find me. They're not runners, but they're if you've got them trained correctly, if you've got a dog that is confident, they're the best dogs going.
They're yes, you get yourself a good one. I'm not sure you ever heard of Belmonte Kennels, Ed Hodis. So I mean, years ago, about 13, 14 years ago, I used to be in Cane Corsos, and I had a lot of Ed's dogs, and I don't know if you ever heard of Alaric Kennels. Alaric was Mike Sawtelle
Yeah,
Jr. and it was
yes.
you know all that. There's a lot of history, a lot of stuff, but yeah, they're great dogs. I love them.
Yeah.
I went to I judged in the ICCF and I judged in Canada as well, a few of the Cane Corso shows. So I used to be very heavily into dogs. I love them.
Yeah,
Corsos are very nice.
I won't get another breed. I mean, you know, they're huge, but personality-wise, they don't do anything they don't have to do. If they can just stare at you and make you walk away, that's all they'll do.
Yeah, I mean, intimidation. That's the best guard dog. You know.
There's an Akita down the street from us. And
oh boy, yeah.
When that family first moved in, I was. They were sitting on the front porch, and I was walking him. You know, we were on his walk, and he's sniffing around the trees. The Akita's going nuts, barking at him. You know, sitting at the top of the stairs, going bananas. He didn't even give it the time of day. And then finally, the dog must have said something to him that he didn't like. All he did was shoot him a look, and that Akita went, "Oops, sorry." And scurried back and hid behind his owner.
I'm gonna tell you now, if that dog gave you a look, you're walking the other way. It doesn't matter.
I would, unless you're a moron. I mean, you gotta. I had big dogs, always had big dogs, and there's some people who like to put themselves in the wrong position with these creatures, but yeah, you should know. I mean, but these are good dogs, right? Like I'm sure Paul's dog is well behaved and approachable, like my dog is. I mean, it's just
he's a sweetheart.
They're big dogs.
I took him to get his nails done today. He got his mani-pedi. He had his spa day. Man, those girls dropped every dog they were grooming, ran to the front of the store to go wrestle with him.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, he's a linebacker walking in there. Oh, yeah. I love Neo's too. The Mastini, the Neapolitan Mastiff is a dog I really love too. My dog is what they consider a band dog. And she's heavy Neo, but yeah, they're great dogs. I love the Corsos.
It's a temperament. It's all the temperament. You raise these dogs are raised right. I don't care. They're great with kids. There was a kid that lived down the street from us before when we were renting before our house was built. Toddler loved this dog. His mother would take him out. She would run, and he'd be in the stroller. The kid would stop his mother from running, jump out of the stroller, waddle down the street, grab him by the jowls, and shake his head. And all the dogs would kick him in the face.
Well, it's environment too, Paul. So here's the thing: you got a great dog, but the dog got a great owner and a great home.
Yeah.
And I've worked with a lot of trainers, and I remember this one trainer. He's actually in upstate New York, and he always used to say it's 65% environment, 35% genetics. He says and he's right, because you can take a sound dog and you can ruin it very quickly, right? Very, very quickly, and then it takes so much work to get him. But you got to give yourself credit too. Because what I hear is a good owner. Because I'm a big dog guy, just as much as a fish guy, And I mean, I don't breed or train anymore per se because just. The dog world's tough. The Cane Corso world's tough because they became so popular at one time, so popular, and unfortunately they've been abused too. It's horrible.
I tell people that if you go on the Cane Corso Facebook groups, you're taking your life in your hands. I mean, they are nasty. I mean,
they are.
They will cut your throat as soon as you turn around.
The dog world is vicious,
and then they turn it. I stopped going on there because you can't have a conversation with these people. The
Corso is a polarizing breed. It's a polarizing breed because you have the U.S. standard, you have the Europeans, you have Canadians, you have undershots, not undershots, scissor bites. Right? There's so much of the conformation issues throughout the decades. Honestly, right? So it's like. Some Corso people, I mean, just dog people in general can be nasty in that when you're dealing with high level types of dogs. So it's like, I have to stop. I'm like, man, I've never seen anything like. He's very toxic. It can be very toxic.
What fish matches a King Corso then?
Which fish?
Yeah.
Oscar.
Oscar would be a good choice.
Oscar. Because they're big goofballs.
They are goofballs, man.
Yeah.
Like mastiffs are. I mean, you guys hear me talk about knowledge. You hear me, Skip, right? I'm like, man, this dog is so freaking goofy, even at 2 years old, you know?
I actually like its owner.
She's a goofball. Yeah, man, but I don't poo that much. I try not to. She is.
Yeah, but I heard you slobber just as much, so.
Well, yeah, but that's okay. Some people like that, Doc. Some people like that. Joke's on you.
He's into that shit.
No, they're great dogs, though.
Now,
Corsos are great.
my aunt had an English.
Oof, yeah.
At one time, the dog was 250 pounds.
Oh my God.
They're enormous dogs. People don't, when you see a male, especially a male in person, woo.
He was a big male, and she fixed him too early.
Wow. So he didn't even fill out totally then, probably, even at that big.
50 pounds. She had to have towels all over the house because it was like it's constant faucet coming off those towels.
It is. I thought the Corsos were bad.
No, he's I one of the things I asked for specifically is I want a tight mouth. This way,
yes.
I didn't want the drool all over the place.
Yeah, I had a female like that, and she would drink her water, and we would just go running. No, run from Bella, run! You know, it'd be 6 inches long. The slobbery could jump rope with it. It's like no. Then the dreaded shake the head, right, and then the slobber goes 6 feet on the wall.
That's it.
Oh man, I don't miss those days.
So someone asked I think it was Amisa, maybe, if you have the tanks for Arkoff yet.
No, we're still waiting on the tanks. I will call tomorrow and see what's
Specialized tanks. Where are they coming from, Doc? Where are these tanks coming from?
China, fiberglass tanks that we had to order after my attempt at building tanks failed.
Right.
Oh, you're not a doctor of engineering?
Well, not Peruvian engineering. No. American engineering, right? Fine. My tank's 20 years old. Never had any problem with it, and the tanks in Peru just couldn't.
What happened?
Couldn't fix these had little pinhole leaks.
So in the material itself and the sealant and what I can't quite remember what the tanks were made of.
We don't know. I just the specifications of wood in Peru, since it's basically cut with a lot of it's cut with a chainsaw. It's not perfect. So no matter what, we use 2-part epoxy, we use fiberglass rosin and fiberglass itself, and it just so yeah, we bit the bullet. Could have done it.
You tried though, right? You tried. You gave the effort. That's big. Yeah. Giving effort means a lot.
Yeah.
Good night, Richard.
You should make a bow front tank, Doc.
Oh, bow front. Yeah.
If the wood's already curved, you half the battle right there.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, you got to heat that acrylic up to get it to bow like it too.
What type of wood were you guys using in Peru too?
I don't know the species of wood there.
Hardwood, I would assume.
Yeah, hardwood.
Not pulp.
Yeah,
that's cool.
So Whips is asking, I know he's asking me, but does anybody else have any favorite big cichlids? Honest, mine right now is a Star Sapphire. It's the biggest cichlid now. Yeah, the biggest one here before long. It's good. They're getting big.
I have the big 8-year-old Oscar here. It's like the size of a football. Pretty big guy.
We saw my big fish.
Mine are epistogrammas.
Vinay, how's that big Oscar you have? Is it still?
Oh man, he is awesome and mean and gnarly, and I mean he destroys the sponge filter, just disassembles it, everything. All the pieces will be here, there, the base, everything separate, and heater comes off the suction cups. He's happy. He's pretty happy. He's an aggressive fish, so he can't be with anyone, because he just tries to eat or fight. But he's great. I actually have some Haitian cichlids growing out, 10 pry of those, and I have 2 Nicaraguenses growing out too. So those will be fairly big. Big monsters coming up soon.
We have 5 or 6 wild discus. I got discus on the brain, wild Oscars at the university. I have a 150-gallon tank in my classroom. And those large Oscars are the biggest wimps in the world. They're everything. You walk by the tower in the corner,
Yeah, because you got them out of their environment, right? And it's like now we got.
I got them when they're 1.5 inches old, so they've been raised in these tanks. So,
were you yelling at the doc? You were yelling at those poor things.
Those are big wimps.
Mine's not. This is the kids named this guy Big Buddy, and he's quite aggressive. I've had Oxford throughout the years. He's the most aggressive guy I've ever had. I mean, I've had to solidify his tank. The HOB, he knocks the the intake right off. He's pretty violent, but I love him though because he eats out of your hand. He's like a koi. Take pellets right out of your hand.
That's cool.
Yeah, he's a good
Don't
guy.
feed him your culls?
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, guys. He's a fat, lazy bastard. I throw some fish in there. He does like 2-3 sprints, and he's like, "F it, I'm done." he will live with guppies because he just can't catch them. He doesn't care, So, but we'll see. We'll see how these other guys grow up. I do got some Braziliensis, I got a bunch of Geophagus. I got maybe Doc, you've heard of them. They're the Rio. I think they're called Kaite. They haven't been described yet, so they're really cool. They remind me of Swen Eye a little bit, and they have some spangling, but we'll see. I'm sure.
Does anyone have a bucket list fish that they want and are about to acquire, or that's on their bucket list that they don't have yet?
Mine would be the blue-faced wild discus from Brazil.
Discus, very nice.
Blue-faced wild discus from Brazil.
I gotta look that one up.
Full moon. They're called full moon discus.
Man, discus are nice.
That's gonna be my bucket list item. I think, as far as
discus are on the list. They're on the list, I will say.
As far as non-plecos.
I will tell you that they're not as hard as people make them out to be, especially now.
You're right.
Especially now that they're almost all tank raised.
Yeah.
I started out with wilds back in the Stone Age, and they actually bred for me, and I don't know how, because back then we used to break down the tanks completely.
Right.
Days. That's what we're supposed to do. And they laid eggs for me, which was like, okay. But they're not anywhere near as hard as they used to be. These guys, I mean, in Germany, Stendecker is going out of business, but their line of discus are all hard water.
Did you say full moon or blue moon?
Well, they're called blue face.
They're full moon discus.
Yeah.
Heckle, right?
Yeah.
I looked up full moon and I got blue moon from Hacker's Discus.
Well,
they could be a strain.
No, they're a wild. I mean, so blue face are basically what they are, but the full moon are almost like blue diamond discus. They have very little striations in their body, and it's very a wild
and vibrant.
I could have imported.
Awesome.
I know an exporter in Brazil who was willing to send me, but you had to buy 10 boxes. That's his minimum shipment.
Dang. How much fish in a box?
10 in each box.
10 in each box and 10 boxes.
$100 a fish.
Wow.
So that's $10,000 just for the 10 boxes.
That's kidney time.
And there's no guarantee they're going to be alive when you get
them. No, I know. And then he actually emailed me like a month ago, said that the price went down to $35 a fish. But still,
Ooh, really?
how can I explain that to my wife? Hey, that kidney transplant you need, we're not going to do it anymore.
Well,
Wait a
just
minute,
tell
you
her you're
said-
cornering
hold
the
on.
market.
Remember, they said you don't ask for permission, you ask for forgiveness,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
That's
Yeah.
what I do.
You said
Yeah.
$100 a box.
No, yeah, $100 a fish,
Fish.
10 per box.
Box.
10 per box. That's $1,000 a box.
$1,000 box. 10 boxes, $10,000.
Listen, that's divorce. Like, I would be sleeping out of my truck.
Yeah, no, I told him there's no way I could do that. I couldn't even ask my
Oh,
wife.
10 G's? Yeah, that'd
She
be
would look
rough.
at
I
me and
don't know.
roll her eyes and say, "What? Who are you kidding?"
Yeah, that's crazy. That's out there.
Yep.
I mean, I guess it'd be different if you had a crazy fish store and could get rid of them, but
Yeah, but can you imagine the price of those?
yeah, it's true too. 'Cause you got to
The
make
shipping
up.
will be $3,000 or $4,000 on them.
Yeah. I mean, I'm getting where I get my discus from. You get a 4.5-inch discus, a good strain, $70. If you go a little bit bigger, I mean, they could be over 100. It depends on the strain.
Yeah.
If it's a newer strain, they cost more money. But you're talking about a fish that's already this big.
Jesus.
My bucket list fish is it's a Corydoras, and it's the true parallelis. That's mine.
The true parallelis. Yes, they're very nice.
You say the screw parallelis?
I thought he said to the
True. The
True.
true.
Okay.
Some people call them super parallelis. Yeah, they're very nice.
How about C111, which is the Vulcan or the zebra from Brazil? That's actually illegal to export out of Brazil, but you can find them in Germany all the time. No, you can, and I belong
Right.
to a couple of
I know what you
Facebook
mean.
catfish groups, and these guys from Germany are always showing their C111s, and I always put on Facebook, those are illegal to actually export. So you're saying that these were smuggled by showing them that you're breeding them. I said,
Right.
They're awesome, but there's so many pictures of them, and I don't know.
Yeah,
those are awesome too.
Yeah.
Those are pretty cool. I'd love to have those.
Mine are the L173 high pancistrus, and
Mm-hmm.
I have
Those
to
are
say, and I've got them. I've got F1s. I've got like 8 of them, and luckily I have them. I'm just
well, but
waiting.
that can't be your bucket list. A bucket list is one that you want.
Not true. I have my top bucket list
You
right now.
have your bucket list,
She filled her bucket.
Yeah,
yeah.
but that's true. I asked, is there a
Yeah,
bucket
true.
list fish that you want that you don't have? So that's true. Doc's correct.
Yeah, see?
That's
I
true.
don't.
Tomorrow.
I don't think I've got anything that I'm jonesing after right now. I mean, I'm getting the Gudaids. I've wanted to try.
Oh, you'll love them. They're fun.
Yeah, so I've got the Xenoteca Dori, I think it is,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I've got some Amica Splendens coming.
Hey, those Amicas are tough, man. I like the Amicas. They're tough. I've had them with my green terrors and had them terrorize my green terrors.
So that's where I'm going. I can't do any other. I've tried other live bearers. My water's too acidic. Apparently, these will be able to handle my water parameters. Because my water settles at about 6.2.
Okay. Yeah,
That's
they'll
like
do good.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I mean, but it's hard. The thing is that the water it's got a lot of
Yep.
iron in it, but no carbon. So it's got no
Mine-
KH in it at all.
Mine can be very similar. Very similar.
If I didn't treat my water, if I didn't put aragonite in my filters, you drop a snail in it, it'd be like Alka-Seltzer. You see it bubbling going down.
Can I have another fish? I've decided.
You
Yeah.
go.
Go ahead, Doc.
My bucket list fish is a blood red parrotfish.
Okay.
Well,
Now you're.
really?
I know parrots, but I don't know. If I
No,
know
he's
red
playing a
parrot.
joke.
He has to be. It's just he's.
He's so full of it right now.
When I read Whips, I thought he said the blood red, and then Asian arowana was on the second line. I thought he was going to say the blood red parrot.
Oh, that's
It's like-
funny.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong with this Asian arowana thing.
Yes.
If you can get it, but it has to have papers with it. Is that true?
Cannot. It's illegal
You can't get
in
him.
the United States.
To have the Asian arowana, you
To
can't have the Asian.
no matter
Unless-
what. I mean, all Asian arowanas that are being shipped out of Asia are microchipped, because that will prove that they are not wild caught Asian arowanas.
Right.
And I was talking to the U.S. Fish and Wildlife about the Asian arowana, why the rest of the world has no ban on them. You know, you can get them in Canada. You can get them here. I mean, within
Yes.
half a day, I can make phone calls and I'll have one at my house if I wanted one. But
You can get anything. Almost here.
yeah, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife. The reason why they don't want to lift the ban is they say then the poachers will have won, and I don't understand that, because millions are being produced in farms.
You got to put them out of business. If you do this, you put the poachers out of business.
No one's going out and catching wild caught arowanas anymore, because they almost don't exist in
Break
the
their
world.
thumbs.
So
Right.
I know a guy. I ain't gonna say no name.
I know a guy who knows a guy.
They got one shipped from Asia to the United States. It cleared customs and it had a certificate with it.
Is it for study though? I mean, can't they do something when if it's for some type of true educational study or?
Well, an
something to that
aquarium may be able to get it easily, but what I'm saying is this guy actually got it in his possession. Want no more? It jumped. It did the suicide jump. But anyways, it cleared customs and it had that certificate.
That doesn't matter. It should, unless the certificate said this is a South American.
At least they said they had a certificate or something. You know what I mean?
I often thought about exporting some.
It's like snakehead, man.
Breeding them in South America on the farms, and then shipping juveniles into the U.S. as South American arowanas. But I don't do anything illegal, so I wouldn't do that.
But technically, you'd be correct. They came from South America.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think they're going to be thinking species-wise, right, and the origin of the species, right? So I think, you get around it, but I think they would still.
Oh yeah, it would still be technically legal.
Yeah, the hammer would come down.
If someone really wanted to try to import
but yes,
the US, that's how
you're right.
Because Arapima, I know an exporter in Peru that it's cheaper for him to have shipped in Arapima from Southeast Asia to Peru and then export them back out to the U.S. and around the world than it is to buy Arapima in country from the fish farm.
Why is that though?
Because the Arapimas that they raise in Peru right now are for food purposes.
Eating? Yeah, right, they're eating, right, yeah, I just see that. Yeah, they got a massive thing going on there.
More about the Arapima where it's a food source for them down there.
Oh, it's a good meat.
It's big meat, it's supposed to be very good meat.
It's not flaky like fish. It's like
swordfish. It's a
yeah.
It's like a steak.
It's a firm meat, right?
Steak.
Yeah. It's not flaky.
The same thing goes with discus fillet. You can get a Asian discus for small percentage of what you would get a South American discus for. They just breed so many of them.
They're cranking them out, yeah.
Oh yeah, it's a machine out there. I mean,
Well, I mean, the Asian fish are making their way into Germany and and Czech too. Like you're hearing a lot of German and Czech fish. Be surprised how much of it's actually a little bit, BS a little bit because everyone's getting Asian fish.
yeah.
Very true.
Skipper, did you already read what Brian from Pepland said about the Asian arowana and their certificates?
Yeah, I gotta look into. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, regardless,
it's just one of them things.
it's a big ass tank, right?
I just wondered, I don't know, Paul. You ever heard of a dog called the Fila? I think it's the Fila Pau San Miguel, right?
Yeah.
So my friends who are actually King Corso breeders years ago are the first people to bring the dog into the country, right? And they brought it in. I remember seeing it, had his ears rounded and all that good stuff. And it was a cool dog, but they brought it in through a friend who was a diplomat and was able just to bring the dog. It was really funny. So I don't know if maybe certain things they can do that with fish either, but that's how the first one came in the country. It came in through a diplomatic technicality.
Oh, I'm sure.
So, Skip, there you go. Go down to Washington, make friends, and say, hey, look, get me a goddamn arowana.
Listen, after this year, I'm done with politics. So Nathan asked, what's the number one fish you'd save and one fish you wish wasn't in the hobby?
Pacu.
Pacus, that's a good one.
Red-tailed catfish should not be in the hobby.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's so true. That's so many of these big ass fish, to be honest with you.
Yeah, my sentiments exactly, Vinay. I don't think monster fish have a place in the hobby because most people most people can't keep them. They don't have the tank space.
And sometimes it's even the dedication it takes, like to keep up with some monster fish,
I mean, they both, if you're keeping them, if this is like a professional aquarium, that's a different story. Well, most hobbyists can't. I mean, I was at what's his name's over in at the Triple Crown. Where do we go? Skip?
Oh, Rusty Wessel.
Rusty Wessel.
I mean, this guy knows his shit, and he doesn't have any monster fish.
And his pinks are like so big and beautiful and like perfect, but
I mean, he's got some nice sized cichlids. Don't get me wrong, but they're like 10-inch.
Right, we're talking about monster. Right, exactly.
I mean, these are 10-inch.
Yeah.
With that, there is a place for them, right? But
if you can provide
I'm going to give you an example. My sister-in-law, she was in here, went and got this catfish. She was at a store. She saw it. She goes, I want it. It was a red-tailed catfish.
Oh, boy.
They did not tell her that it was going to get.
Yep.
What do they get?
They never do, man. They never do.
They get up to 36 inches.
36 inches. They didn't tell her that. And whenever I told her, I said, you better get a freaking swimming pool put in your basement because now you have this. You need to, do whatever with it. And then, unfortunately, it passed away because it went up into an ornament and got stuck in there and died. But they're not telling people the potential of it. They just want it for a sell, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying, I think they're awesome fish. Like, if I had the space to do it, I would have a tank for something like that.
Well, people have to, learn that these fish can't be with certain tank mates, dude. I mean, catfish, big ass catfish, how they are, right?
They're predators.
They will gulp anything, right? Exactly. They're opportunistic predators too. So it's just one of those things. I mean, I know people can do it, and people do it, but man, it's so tough to have those big giant things in the hobby. You can't have much with them.
Yeah.
I like what Whip said. We shouldn't keep any species from people who can properly care for them. That's good, but I like what you said there. But the people that are selling them need to educate more.
That's right. You have to know what you're getting into. If you think this
guys,
little red-tailed catfish are cute, but
guys, when I used to
big, and you put them in a 10-gallon tank, you know, because they think that's the size they're going to be.
I mean, what are those, the big cichlids from Central America? They're all over Florida.
Midas?
No, bigger.
No. Yeah.
Not the red devils, and that's
No, it's an orange fish.
They're bigger. I mean, they're
Yeah.
huge. They basically they come in there. These little fish they sell, you know, and then within a year they're tank busters. But they don't.
Yes.
They don't tell people that they're going to get dove eyes. That's it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Nathan.
Dove eyes. Yeah.
They get huge and they are incredibly
Aggressive.
territorial.
They're aggressive. Yes.
I mean, you
A
know,
dove eye is a
you
wolf.
go into like a box store because it's amazing what oddball stuff goes through those stores. You'll
I
find.
think the common pleco needs to be one they need to
Oh
take
yeah,
up
that's true.
Oh God.
I do too, because you know how you get tricked with the common plecos, because they're very beautiful fish, especially when they're small. They have amazing patterns. They look really cool. I was the kid buying the 10 years old, you know, running in and buying one tiger barb and putting it with an angelfish and a gurmy and everything with ventrals that it could nip, right? And it had no other friends, and they didn't tell me anything. They didn't care, right? They were just like, here, $10. So yeah, you learn to make all these mistakes because people just want to profit. You know, that's the difference of sometimes going to a store, even some mediocre LFSs, and then going to an aquarist, going to someone that's a fish keeper, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know, that's kind of what I do now. I mean, there's not a fish in this room, guys, that has come from everything has come honestly from you guys, from people, you know, in the hobby. And that's the way I like it. And I tend to have no problems, you know, even with my LFS that's right across the street. Which is I still rather deal with you guys, you know. It's the best place to get fish.
Whip, when you're talking about those Corsos, the thing is that you have to buy the dog from a reputable breeder.
Very reputable breeder.
Breeder will not sell a dog to somebody who cannot handle it.
Right.
Okay. You know, as sweet as he is, you don't want him running this house.
Right. Imagine him in the wrong hands. Would he be sweet? What could happen if, like you said, if he's the dominant alpha and he's running the pack, or he thinks he is, and you got a dog that's going to challenge you, man, that will challenge and scare the shit out of you.
You don't want. You see, the thing is that it's up to the breeder to. That's why I had a 2.5-hour interview.
You tend to fill out a questionnaire, right? And then when you look for a breeder as well, guys, especially with these big dogs and these mastiffs and these working dogs, make sure that they're at least OFA, they're pen hip certified, their elbows are checked for entropion, you know, cherry eye, all these different things. That's the sign of a mark of a good breeder. A breeder doesn't breed dogs to sell. They breed dogs to better the breed. Same thing with fish, right? It's the same concept. And I'm big serious because
because it's a guy like it. The same thing with these monster fish. You got people who just want to make a buck. They want to move the fish as opposed to putting it in the right situation. And you know, you got more of those people out there than you do people who are trying to do right by the hobby.
Absolutely.
It's a business.
Absolutely.
I mean, okay, so it doesn't matter what hobby it is. It could be, or what animal that you like to keep. There's always something in each one of those that if it's not done right, you're going to have issues.
I mean, you know, it's the husbandry behind it, man. It's a science. It's an art. You know, should be studied and worked on, and a skill that should be honed. And if you're into dogs like you're into fish, and you're marking your generations down, guys. F1s are the same thing. You know, F1s in the dog world can be a hybrid. It's typically the first hybrid, right? We take wild fish, we spawn them, right? And we have babies. We call those F1s. Now in the dog world, F1s are typically hybrids or even a cross of two different lines. Let's say a Malinois and a Dutch Shepherd, or a German Shepherd into a Malinois, right? Those are F1s. So animal husbandry is very important. It's a skill, you know, and I tell people don't get complacent because we're always learning. I always think I know one way or two ways or three ways. There's 10 ways. There's a different way. You know, there's just different variables. So That's what it takes. Whether, especially with dogs as well, because it's on a bigger level, right? Look at pit bulls, Rottweilers, German shepherds, the cane corso, the Neapolitan mastiffs. Look at how many dogs have been ruined, right? How many dogs have been ruined? And we're kind of seeing that a little bit in the fish world too.
Mm-hmm.
I tell people to pay attention to the barbs and the rasboras you see in a lot of LFSs or Petco, and you're going to take a look at their tails, take a look at their peduncles, and you're going to see them bent. It's actually something I see a lot here on the East Coast that people will see, because they're just being bred. It's the same thing when you're breeding dogs with bad hips, small nasal cavities, upturned nasal cavities, right? It's the same thing. You're breeding crap, and they're being put out there.
Like my French dogs.
It's what I tell people about German blue rams. They the stuff that's coming out of these fish farms is garbage.
Yes.
The genetics are all screwed.
They're weak.
Yeah,
they're
the
weak.
genetics are screwed.
So is this, Keith, is this what you're talking about? Because that is an awesome fish.
Which one's that?
This
The
is
Appalachia darter.
Yeah.
Oh God, that's beautiful.
Darters.
All darters are amazing. Yeah, I love darters.
So there was a fish that I saw in the river not too far from my house. I mean, I couldn't tell the color, but it looked like a darter. I was thinking about just.
Oh, I love the darter's behavior.
But I wanted to see if I could catch them to see what they were. Problem is, in the state of Pennsylvania, you can't keep native fish.
Dang, that's so weird.
Tell them it speaks with an accent, so it's not native.
And then let's see here. Whip wants to know if anybody has raised a male bluegill, a big one.
No, but I remember Rico was raising a bluegill, wasn't he?
I think he still has it. And then also you have Kenny with an eye from ABC Aquatics has him.
Oh, very good. He has a lot of native fish, actually.
I think Rico was going to put that bluegill in his pond or tub, whatever this year.
Mm.
George, you forgot somebody.
Georgie.
Yeah, I feel hurt. I was gonna invite George on my stream this weekend, but maybe
My brother George, how are you, man?
Oh my God, I love George.
Hey, George.
on the California crew.
That guy's my brother, man. That is a very cool guy, period. Fish or not fish, that's just a great guy. A good human being.
Hey, George, those Ave Creek Bosemani I got from you, they're doing really well. They're really coloring up nice.
Nice.
Oh, we have a Chattanooga Ed sighting.
Uh-oh.
Ed. Hope you're having a good time, Ed.
Hey, Ed.
Amicia, this is a gray area in the state with that. With the keep live bait. Yes, you can. You have a fishing license.
Great question. That's a good question.
Someone earlier asked Darlene maybe if we could send her some water, some hyacinth,
It's illegal. It's illegal to ship across state lines.
Yeah, exactly. But I saw it at our LFS over here on Beach Boulevard, Doc.
So is it illegal for Californians to ship it, or is it?
We have them, but we have them here at the ponds growing.
It's
Yeah,
a
but you
plant
can't ship
that
it.
you can't ship across state lines in the U.S.
Mm.
Sorry,
Most
darling.
plants, like water lettuce, you can't either because it's a highly invasive plant.
Oh, dang. Really? I love
Yeah,
I
it is.
Water
I used to
lettuce.
get
I was
them-
going to send a skipper.
I used to get them all the time when I had my koi pond, but they don't
Yeah.
survive the winter.
People do it all the time. I'm just saying.
Yes, no, they won't.
By
Yeah.
regulations.
Yeah.
Well, we have a koi hatchery right up the street from us. So he has all the pond plants. I never thought, honestly, because he's growing them there, but I do know he orders stuff too. I wonder where he used to get it from. So
It's probably an approved distributor.
And I was also getting anacris from him too.
yeah, anacris. I was getting hornwort, water lettuce, hyacinth, pear. I mean, all the pond plants, cat's tail. But
I mean, the only
Well,
thing that
like,
survived the winter for me was the anacris, and that the water lettuce. As soon as it got 40 degrees, I mean, it just started to die.
yeah, well, it'll wilt away, brown up quickly.
Yeah, I used to just clean off my pond and throw it in the compost pile.
Yeah.
Mm.
I can't grow anymore because my turtle eats it. So
Your what? Your turtle?
the turtle eats every plant in my pond.
So
What kind of turtle?
I'm going to call bullcrap
Right here,
because I just ordered that and received it from a plant website
What?
that is
What
not in
plant?
the state of Pennsylvania. Water lettuce.
Well,
I'm not a plant website. Remember that? No, I'm joking.
I mean,
It wasn't.
I got
It
it
wasn't
from.
me.
I got it like last year, the end of last year, from like Boost Plants
Mm-hmm. It
or
was Boost
Aquarium,
Plant.
right?
Yeah, that's
I ordered it off of eBay.
well,
Maybe they have a
of
certain
course, you
license.
get anything off eBay. eBay is the dark web of the normal web.
The dark web is just the nicest part of the dark web of the normal web.
Interesting.
Darlene says you can't get it in Alabama.
Well, go to a koi store, a place that.
Find yourself a hatchery, guys. Find yourself a really good. I'm lucky because I'm in Frederick, guys. A lot of people don't know. In the 80s, Frederick was a place that supplied 82% of the goldfish to the country, all different kinds. So I'm very lucky that because we have a third generation. His family has been breeding it since like the 1880s, goldfish and koi.
What company is
So
that?
that is Eaton Hatchery, Eaton Fish Hatchery. He also has game ponds where he's having an issue with the state. Something's going on because he's not opening until they have a hearing in June. But they've been there, guys, they've been here literally in Frederick for like, I don't know, 100 plus years, almost 200 years. So, but they're having an issue, but that's what they do. So it's kind of like, you can find them if you're in Pennsylvania. I tell people, look at Hanover Koi Farm. They're very much underrated. And they're a great guy, great owner there too. I'll tell Skipper about it. They're close to the CCY place. Well, I told you we can. I know the owner. We can do a little behind the scenes thing too because I love koi. I bred koi for a long, long time, so I have a soft spot for koi.
So this is the guy I need to talk to about bluegills right here. ABC.
Oh yeah.
Something. Sketty said they had a bluegill because my son brought one of the fry home from Poland. Yeah, they're pretty cool, small.
Yeah, to bring fish,
They are
bait fish in the wild from the wild into your tank. It really depends on what state you're in. In California, any bait fish you catch, you can't use in another waterway. So
right.
you can't transport bait fish from lake to lake or river to river, but it doesn't necessarily say you can't take them home. The only fish that are actually technically illegal to transport to home from wild here in California are like bass and things of that sort. The sport fish,
the big game fish, right?
Yeah. They're technically illegal. It's not like Fish and Game's gonna come to your house and look for them.
Well, the crazy thing in the state of Pennsylvania, if you build a big pond, in your property,
you can fill it with game pond. I'm right.
Yeah, you can
fish.
Get bluegills, you can get bass.
Yeah, same thing. Yeah,
that's the crazy thing about it. You know what I mean?
You can make a pond and stock it, basically. Right?
You can stock it with game fish.
I design ponds like that.
That makes no sense at all.
Well, where I live now, we have canals running through. We stock them all the time with smallmouth bass, sunnies, bluegills.
Yes.
I
love sunfish, actually.
Triploid grass carp.
Grass carp, yeah.
Yeah, because we need. We need those to keep the water weeds under control.
But isn't there something about the grass carp too? Or is it the mirror carp? One of those? There was some type of stipulation, or they're very invasive.
Well, no,
they are. But one thing
aren't they breeding and hybridizing with the mirror carp as well to get the scalage and whatnot? I thought.
No, the grass carp are triploid because they put the eggs under pressure, and that spits out an extra set of chromosomes. But if you do 10,000 eggs at once, you're not going to be checking every egg to make sure all of them are under pressure, because they have found thriving breeding populations in the lower Mississippi River. And
Doc, when you mean under pressure, what do you exactly mean by under pressure?
Pressure, I mean air pressure. They put
Air
them
pressure,
in
okay.
a big pressure chamber, and they
Okay,
force pressure in there.
got it.
And one thing about carp, especially grass carp, they can live for 100 years. And grass
Yes.
carp
Huge.
don't know the difference
Yes.
between a invasive plant or a native plant. They eat
Well,
everything.
people can even try to mistake them for goldfish a lot, or a different type of hybrid.
They get huge. They almost look like the Loch Ness
Fat body.
monster when they
They're
come
Yeah.
up.
torpedoes too. They're
They're
torpedoes.
fat bodies.
Is
Yeah.
that the ones that I've seen many videos, but that's in the Mississippi, or there's some waterway that they're in it. They're jumping up out.
No, those are bighead and silver carp.
Yeah, there's
Yeah, they were brought
Yeah,
into,
carp are so interesting. Carp
they
are
were
so
brought
interesting.
into a lot of aquaculture situations to eat
Mhm.
the algae.
Right.
Because one is a phytoplankton eater and one's a zooplankton eater, and the ones that are zooplankton eaters have gotten into the Mississippi, Missouri River systems all throughout the upper Midwest, and they think they may be already in the Great Lakes, even though they have a electrical barrier that prevents them, and they're eating all the Daphne, all the the zooplankton
Everything.
that baby fish eat. And so they're really changing the ecosystem there. When you have these fish, that's basically all you have.
and that's like that. What there's another. It's not. Well, I guess it's considered a fish. Is it the lamprey eel?
Yeah, lamprey, that is a fish. Yeah, that was brought into the Great Lakes when they built the St. Lawrence Seaway.
And they're having issues with them right now too.
Yeah, because what happens is you can use a lampricide, which is a chemical. It's the only way to get rid of them. And state governments lose the zeal to use this lampricide for, after 5 or 6 years, you won't have any, but the larvae are there, but they're not being affected as much. And so they get a repopulation of it.
It's funny because you want to know how I learned about that? It's so crazy. It was on the Discovery Channel, and it was through Dirty Jobs.
Yeah.
I mean, they are bottom dwellers, right?
No, not lampreys.
Oh,
No,
right.
No.
They
Hey, mate.
they're parasitic fish.
Yeah, they're fish parasites.
Oh.
So they grab onto a fish. They don't have a jaw. Their mouth is circular, all with these cornified teeth,
I gotta
and
look
they
this
latch on, especially the lake trout in the Great Lakes. That's what they did.
Yeah.
They decimated the lake trout. We have them naturally here on the West Coast.
Where?
I mean, they're the Native Americans have used them for food for generations.
Dang, that's an ugly looking fish.
Yeah, it is.
They're the most primitive fish out there.
Oh boy.
Sketty Donna was asking about what eats grass carp.
What eats grass carp?
Yeah.
Birds of prey, because they're
Yeah.
huge. That's really
Yeah.
the only thing.
The carp is so bony though too.
Osprey will
Well, animals don't care. Yeah, animals don't care.
The number one,
off. Blue herons will pick them off.
yeah.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. You're right.
And then where I'm at, we got gators. So
Yeah.
they do a number on them too.
We think of carp in America as trash fish. Europe really prize them for fishing. I mean, the Europeans love
Yes, they do.
Carp.
Yes,
They're found in
it's a game
pristine
fish.
water. In Japan, the carp are found in high mountain lakes. But carp,
Yes.
more carp are eaten around the world than all other fish put together.
I believe that.
It's all on how you cook it.
Well, it's not the same carp. It's not the
It's not like goldfish,
carp
right?
that we have in America
Right.
that was brought from Europe. It's not native to America. The big head, the silver carp, they have lots of meat on them. But because they have the carp name here in America, people don't want to eat them.
Yeah. When I was a kid, we went crappie and bass fishing.
Oh yeah, that's crappie's huge. Yeah.
We had fish fries every Sunday and watch freaking football. But I remember we would come across, a carp every now and then,
Yep.
throw it back.
Listen,
So
that's
what-
just like that. That's like groundhog around here. Nobody will eat it. Well, I'm gonna tell you what. I had groundhog before, and it's actually great.
I mean, I went to school I'm from Texas. I went to school in Texas, and we ate crawfish and crawdads and frog legs and all sorts of shit. But
See, that speaking of crawfish, that's another thing.
I miss
like,
it.
They call them what do they call them? Lobsters in our
Yeah, red lobsters in the pet tray.
Salentino or something like that.
Yeah.
What are they called?
So
Langostino.
Langostino.
yeah.
No, but in the pet tray, they're called
Yes,
blue lobsters.
Langostine, yes.
In the state of Pennsylvania, we're not allowed to have them because of
Yeah.
our native crayfish.
Yeah. In California, we have no native crayfish. All the crayfish we have in California have escaped from most of them are the red swamp crayfish that you get in New Orleans, in the South that are native there. So yeah, we have no native crawfish here in California, but you go everywhere, there's crawfish everywhere.
Yeah.
We use them for fishing bait.
Yep, that's how they were escaped. So there's a question from Whip. It says, "Hey doctor, are there any true freshwater eels native into the U.S. available in the pet trade?" The only true freshwater we have is the American eel, Anguilla anguilla. It actually goes to the ocean to spawn, and then they die, and then the juveniles migrate back up into fresh water. I have never heard these being available for the aquarium trade. There may be some branchid eels in Florida, but I don't know if they're native to Florida. I know they're native to South America and in Asia, but I'm not sure if they're native to the southern U.S. And those are found in the pet trade all the time. Yes, freshwater prawns are macubranchium. Where'd Skipper go? Where's our main man go?
Skipper. Sorry, put some plants away here.
Yep, they spawn in the ocean only once and then they die. In fact, some people think when the American eel and the European eel as well, when they spawn, they actually explode.
Really?
Yeah. But just because we call it the American eel, it's just not found in America. Yes, it's found in Cuba and Puerto Rico. That's their native range.
And they're good eating.
Yeah, I know some people have eaten them. I knew an old professor that at his university, they actually raised them in the aquaculture class.
Yeah, we I had a friend that lived down in the Pine Barrens down in South Jersey, and so they have all these cedar creeks,
Mhm.
and the eels will swim up the creek. So they would put out nets for them. I don't want to tell you how we skinned them, but we filleted them and fried them, and they're very tasty.
Well, anything tastes good fried. I mean,
A little
shoe
bit of
leather.
seasoning, Old Bay, some oil.
Butter.
Put them in, drop them in a little hot peanut oil.
Well, fry the butter and butter.
You just dredge them in a little flour, a little seasoned flour. Throw them in the peanut oil. About a minute later, they're floating to the top and they're ready to eat.
Does anyone remember hush puppies or ever eat hush puppies?
Yes, I went to school in Louisiana, so yeah.
I miss that. I miss Southern food.
Hush puppies are good.
There was a
Who doesn't remember? Who hasn't eaten hush puppies? Hush puppies are really good, especially if it's a good recipe.
If they're done right. My grandmother used to eat
Yeah.
all the time.
Get it with
Those
your
were
pulled pork.
They're a little bit on that sweeter side.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
gotta make them right.
I mean,
Oh,
I miss
dude, now
Southern
I'm getting
food.
hungry.
I need to come back to my roots out here in California.
The ones from Long John Silver's, that's something totally different.
And fried okra. Heck, I grew okra last summer.
Ugh.
I can't eat okra. I hate okra. Oh, I hate okra. It's the ugliest looking thing too. God,
Slimy.
it's like a shriveled penis.
The only thing okra is good in is
The trash.
not etouffee, but what's the big the stew that they make?
Yeah,
The gumbo.
Jambalaya.
Jambalaya. No.
I used to work at Papados in Texas.
Oh, wow.
It was the best. The best Cajun Southern cuisine. You can't get anything better. But someone had a question about, let's talk about cold water hardy floating plants.
Floating plants? Cold?
So cold pond
What
plants.
cold? What temperature is cold though?
Right. What do you think is cold?
I mean, most
What is
plants
cold to you, right?
real cold
Right.
water.
Well, the only
Whoa.
thing that was, when I was keeping my koi pond, the only thing that was common was water lettuce and hyacinth. Everything else was either immersed or submerged.
Yeah.
And are we thinking about ponds or tubs? Like, are we thinking of ponds as in tubs as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, Dee fried okra.
So Dee says Hornwork provides in her outside tubs over the winter.
Yeah, but that's not what you would call a floating cold water.
No.
I got to find the question. Who said that?
It was Coro, and I clicked on
2
something.
years ago.
It's going.
Does anyone have a favorite floating plant for summer tubbing? I'll go first. Dwarf water lettuce. And then
You know what dwarf water lettuce is?
It's just small water lettuce. Wait till it grows.
Same water lettuce.
Just wait till
love
it grows.
Most of it grows small when you bring it inside, so they call it dwarf. Or if it doesn't get enough light outside, it gets really small.
I love it. It's
It's amazing what
so
we
good for shrimp tanks.
You put that outside during the season. You put like 1 or 2 little rosettes of water lettuce.
Yeah.
You'll be throwing it out all summer.
I would throw some water Sprite would work as well.
It puts duckweed to
And
shame.
moss.
You know what puts duckweed to shame is Salvinia minima, and
I love Salvinia. Salvinia is awesome.
I've got the bigger one. I've got to look at the name of it, and it kind of like but it's got. There's 2 different types. I got them from I think a factory, and
I have a minimum.
But it's like a ton.
It's much more controllable, right? Let's say compared to duckweed, which
duckweed, forget about it. But dwarf water lettuce is slower growing, or water lettuce in my opinion. But the Salvinia, oh boy.
So you can use water Sprite too. Is great for tubs, guys. Water Sprite's a great plant. Just floating.
What I had in my 20-gallon tub last year was Java moss, anacris.
Yep, perfect. Hornwort.
Hornwort this year, and I'm going to tell you what, it does great in cold water.
Hornwort or anacris, or is it the same thing?
We had that cold snap, and I've already put it out.
Both of them should do well in cold water.
Now, but
cooler waters.
That dwarf water lettuce stayed small. So
mine is big. Like, I don't know if I let the water line drop a little bit in one of my shrimp tanks, and I've got one of these nice fluval lights on it, and it's getting big. Like Doc said, I guess it's just.
Has anyone ever floated Java fern? Just floated Java fern? Just let it float?
No.
Oh, mine! I always have pieces breaking off and floating around the tank.
Yeah, I literally just that's just how I have my Java fern floating.
That's what I do with pogo stem and octopus. It just floats. It's just a big mass floating around my tanks.
Yeah, love it.
That's a good question.
I would plants from the wild. You need to disinfect them.
Oh,
That's,
absolutely.
you know, whether it's legal or illegal, you know, you'd have to check with the state. But when you bring in plants from the wild, they're filled with, you know, insect larvae, whether it's predaceous insect larvae or whatever, plus, you know, snails, plus a lot of things that can start thriving the warm water of your tank.
Is there anything you specifically like to use on your wild plant stock?
I never bring in wild plants.
No,
I have a
no.
black thumb. I can't grow plants.
I'll tell you how I disinfect. I like to disinfect my plants is potassium permanganate,
Yeah, that's
and you
normally
just
what
get it
people
to
say.
where it's like a whatever kind of volume of water you're going to put up the plants in, but just enough of it to where it's like lightly pink purple. And then after 10, 20 minutes, then just rinse it with water, or you can deactivate it with a little bit of hydrogen peroxide. That's what I like to do.
Yeah.
Or hydrogen peroxide.
I did a test. So,
Did you pass?
yeah, actually, I did. So, if you heard of the alum dip,
No.
Okay,
That's kind of
Frank.
like Moon's dip.
alum is actually something that you bake with. You mix it with water, and you. So the reason why I looked into it and what I was doing was there was somebody that I knew had plants, but if they sent them, they had leeches on them because the plants.
Alum, ALUM.
Yeah.
Oh, alum. Okay.
Alum, whatever. So, because I tried different ways of trying to, and I had different plants, and I did the peroxide. I did not want to do the bleach because I didn't feel like messing with that. And then I went
Yeah,
to
I use peroxide too.
the only thing that I found that would kill a leech was the alum. The hydrogen peroxide would not kill leeches.
Now,
The only problem with doing the alum dip is if you have a delicate plant, it's just going to kill it.
Like, what in the world is alum? I got to look this stuff up.
alum
It's a white powder that's used for baking.
but they also use it in some water supplies, and
Right.
it
Right.
attacks itself to the suspended solids, and it'll actually precipitate out. And there's also some indication that alum may cause plaques in the brain. So,
Hey,
potentially
Skip.
lead to Alzheimer's.
I saw that, Paul.
Tell him, Yunes.
Yunes.
Yeah.
I said Yunes. Is that correct?
No, it's not Yuns, it's Yuns.
Oh,
Yun.
Yuns.
You guys,
It's Yuns.
And it's fangers. And it's fangers.
Yep.
Fine. Yeah. It's funny. Geek Boy says Dr. A has a new career as skipper to English translator. That's right, because I got my own name. You should know this by now.
Oh my god.
That's
No,
hilarious.
I can't.
Oh my god, that's funny.
No, Coral, that's not how you spell Yunes.
UNZ.
I've spelled it so many different ways, though. Cora works.
UNZ. You guys don't know. I had no idea what was going on for the longest time. I asked Jason, I said, what's this UNZ thing? I was like, do you mean UTS like the potato chips, right? He's like, no, man, it's Yunes. And I was like, oh, okay, then I got it. It's kind of like use, right?
I think it's whatever you want it to be. But
Yeah.
I say YOUNZ.
No?
Sorry. Yeah, I love it.
It's whatever you want it to be. Oh, that's hilarious.
Oh my, that's funny.
Gotta learn to talk. And it's not Lancaster, right, Skipper?
Lancaster.
Lancaster, not Lancaster. Why you say it like that?
Lancaster's for you city
In
folk.
Texas, we would say Lancaster.
Well, I had to like almost fight people. Like, why are you saying it like that? I was like, oh, whoa, calm down. Chill out. It's okay.
They said, "Oh, it's the Lancaster." No, it's Lancaster.
Lancaster.
It probably is Lancaster, but that just doesn't.
I don't even know.
We had
We
a
have a
funny.
Lancaster out here. It's called Lancaster.
Lancaster.
Yeah.
Lancaster. I'm glad we cleared that up. Been waiting on my
Skipper's gonna
mind
come out to
heavily.
the West. If he's coming to California, we need to learn him how to talk.
You
No,
ain't
I
giving me
think-
nothing.
You're going to
Let
give
it
him
be.
an
It'll be a
education, Don?
spectacle.
I am.
So I got a story for you. I went to New York City.
Uh-oh.
New York City.
What happened?
I went up to New York City, and they were like, "Man, you need to be careful with what you need to be careful up here." I said, "Well, I'm going to walk. I'm going to have a look on my face. If they don't get out of my way, I'm going to run into them. And it's going to be their fault." Me and my dad walked down the street, and people moved for us.
It's gonna be their fault.
Great. I said, "Just follow us. We'll get you there quicker."
Skip, did you go down and say, "Hey, I'm walking here. I'm walking here"?
I didn't say none of that. I just started walking, and I had that redneck look on my face. And they're like, "Yeah, these country folk here, we got to move out their way. They don't give a damn."
The skipper had a time with the DC traffic though.
I was listen, there's a good thing there was not a 50 cal mounted to my damn vehicle that day.
You're like, what the hell is this?
I'm sure it would be so stressful to be to drive a car in New York City. Would that be like?
It
so
is. It
stressful?
is. It is very stressful.
Oh
It
my
is.
god! You have to take a Xanax before you
Well,
do that thing.
when we were at the last swap, where we all, me, Jason, Skipper, Patty, Maria, Z, were all up there. I had a freak out moment where I'm like, "F this! We're getting the F out of this area. People couldn't drive. They couldn't make left turns. It was the craziest thing. We couldn't find parking. Remember that, Skipper?
We were
I was-
downtown Lancaster.
I was about to headbutt people. I was getting so upset.
We was
That's
downtown Lancaster, and I'm going to tell you something. There were some freaks out that day.
No, it was a cosplay. There was some type of anime thing going on.
No, they were all dressed up like Frenchies. Oh my god!
They were like, some of them were like colonials. I'm not sure what was going on. It was like the
There's
colonial.
probably a convention or something of them.
I don't know what the hell was going on that day.
It was getting bad.
I had that moment too where I was ready to just start running people over because it was getting ridiculous. Then we finally found a spot to go eat, and it was.
They weren't serving food. They were serving chips. They're like, "You want chips and water? We got that. But we have no food." We're like, okay.
So
Good stuff.
me
Good
and my
stuff.
wife, we had to hurry up and do the Google thing and look for another place to eat.
We were getting angry. It was getting bad.
Oh,
All right, so you want to talk about New York traffic? My sister was in the hospital, and she was at New York Presbyterian, which is on East 68th Street on the East River. I had to take my mother home to Weehawken, New Jersey, which is on the Jersey side of the Hudson River. 3 hours to cross the aisle into Manhattan, go from East 68th Street
Oh, yeah.
to the Lincoln Tunnel. 3 hours.
How many miles was that?
5.
Oh my god!
no.
Yeah. Yeah. No, New York is definitely really bad. I had to take a box truck through the Lincoln Tunnel right after 9/11, and it was just the worst experience of my life. It had me like 4 hours late to do what I needed to do. Yeah, in the Whitehurst Freeway, like when I was going into the Bronx, because I did some work. There's a factory there that builds Apache helicopter parts, and I was doing something there, and it was just crazy. I was like, oh my gosh, it's like DC times 1,000.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
So
When
we went.
people talk to me about traffic, I says, you have no freaking clue what traffic is.
I just
Go to DC. We did it whenever we went on that cruise, right? Oh man, that's really
Skipper called me like, what the hell is going on? I'm sorry.
Getting down there was totally fine. Everything went right. We got down there. We got to our hotel. We did the shuttle. But when we got back, I got in the vehicle, and I don't know if Google Maps was having a seizure or what was going on.
It never maps the area correctly.
But it took me through some places down in DC that I was like, what the? Oh my God.
A vehicle, everybody, a vehicle.
It was terrible.
Sure.
No,
It's probably 395, 295. That entire area gets mixed up, and it'll.
oh my.
And believe it or not, those areas you were driving by right there, you had the DIAC where I used to work. You had Bowling Air Force Base, the Defense Intelligence Agency Command Center, right there. So, like, right in the hoodiest parts, you have some of the most sensitive government installations as well. Absolutely
Yeah, I was
crazy.
like, I don't want to meet people I probably babysat at one time. I was like,
You probably did. You probably did.
terrible.
Like, CO.
Okay, I lied earlier about the distance between the hospital and the Lincoln Tunnel. It's not 5 miles. It's 4.2. And
I'm about to say it was like 2 miles.
What?
it's 4.2 miles. So I was on one side of Manhattan Island, and I had to go down to so I was on the east side, went to the west side.
So it's better. It would have been quicker to have walked.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Crazy.
So I'm driving from now Weehawken in Jersey City.
Yeah, you gotta mute your audio, babe.
Weehawken and Jersey City are right next to each other. So I'm driving from my mother's house to my brother's house. Kid on a skateboard passes me up, and he's like miles away, and I'm still sitting at going through my second traffic light.
That is nuts.
He's on a skateboard right down the street, and I'm still sitting at the freaking stoplight.
That's nuts.
I mean, I lost sight of him.
Yeah.
That's awesome, Nathan. I'm glad sorry. This has been an ongoing thing for him, and I'm glad he got it fixed.
That's a trip.
Oh, man. But so I was down in Vegas for a TDY. That's the great thing about being in the Air Force. And I thought driving up here by Pittsburgh was bad. You go down there and you do not drive like them. It's like you're a fish in shark water.
Oh, yeah. They drive crazy
Road
in
rage.
all of Nevada.
I had a 15-passenger van.
Oh boy.
And everybody, I went to the airport. I brought everybody back, and they're like, "Hey, Skip, we want to go downtown Vegas. Can we have the van?" I said, "No, but I'll gladly take you down." So we all pile in this 15-passenger van. We're going down the interstate. I took the bypass, and it's just as nuts on the bypass as it is in town. But we're going. I'm weaving in and out of traffic with this 15-passenger van. They're all scared in the back. They're white knuckling the seats in front of them and stuff. And I said, "What's wrong with you? Why are you driving like this?" I said, "Have you looked around? If I would drive like we do up in South Dakota, you're going to get run over down here. That's just all there is to it." And they never asked for the van after that.
Uh-huh.
Well, now down here in North Carolina, I think directionals are an option that nobody pays for.
Directionals? What are directionals?
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And what they like to do is they like to ride your butt.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's terrible.
Literally, I have never seen so many rear end crashes until I moved down here. I mean, they're sitting on your butt at 80 miles an hour.
That's scary.
This is NASCAR country.
Mm-hmm.
80 miles. The speed limit here is on the interstates is 70. It's a suggestion.
Right.
Everything else is like 85. I mean, I'm doing 85 and I'm just getting blown away. I mean, they're doing 100. Yeah, they just ran out of blinker fluid. Exactly. I saw a state trooper. I'm riding on one of the highways. A state trooper comes up onto the ramp. He made 3 lane changes without the directional being turned on. If that was you or me, he'd light us up, and there'd be several tickets that he'd leave us with.
So you're calling it directional. I think we call those turn signals.
Yeah, that's why I didn't know what a directional was. I wasn't being funny. I had no idea what you're talking about.
We'll go get dinner.
Blinkers.
Okay, blinkers, yes. Turn signals, blinkers. Okay, yeah, that makes more sense to me.
Oh my, it's funny.
Computer's about to die.
Holy cow, we've been going on for 2 hours.
Time flies. You're having a good time.
That's right.
Yeah, this was fun.
Huh?
Jim? What you saying?
I don't know what she's saying.
She says it was fun.
I think we're going to cut it here.
You think?
Make like a banana?
We can wait 5 minutes.
Okay.
So, Doc, the guy I get my discus from, he's got a new red strain of discus. Solid red with blue dorsals.
Yeah, they're the I forgot the name they call it here. San Moran.
He was actually calling them Alanquers, but he said it's a red Alanquer. So
Alanquer. The problem with using the word Alanquer, that's a specific locality in Brazil.
Yeah.
So it has that color, so they call it Alanquer. It gets them more money.
But whatever it is, I mean, they are blood. I mean, it is a deep red with a blue dorsal. With the tip of the dorsal is deep blue. And they have white bands right on their forehead. I mean,
are they babies or adults?
No. These things look like 5+ inch fish.
I'm looking for quarter size to take to Peru with me because my Carlos loves, red Marlboro red discus, and
I mean he's got them. It's Myrtle Beach discus.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, and he's got 2.5 inch fish. The small.
That's different. So while we're winding down here, Doc, are you streaming Saturday?
I am streaming Saturday. Steph and John and maybe other people. So we stream at 4 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, which is 7 Eastern Time.
I should be able to make it. Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
Huh? We can't hear you. What you say?
What?
Stop it.
Can you hear? Is this like a Verizon commercial? Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
I got a new computer, and when I plug it in, the audio stops. I had to call the IT department. It's a thing. So I was just checking because it was real deal earlier this week.
See you, Vinay.
Vinay's gone to bed.
Yep. Dee, if you're gonna go, if you want discus, you better do it quick because some of those strains he doesn't have a lot of. I saw he did a live stream on Facebook. Some really gorgeous fish. I mean,
we maybe plan to have George from Aqua Balls. He was busy last weekend, so I will email him to see if he's available. We'll see his fish and just have a good time, I guess.
Doc, it's raining, I think, here again.
Oh.
We've got the weirdest weather this year in California, Southern California. It's been cold and rainy for extended periods. It's really bizarre.
It's been raining up here for a week straight.
Oh, my Lord.
It just got
You guys have heard of seasonal affective disorder? Like, I seriously think I had that this year. Like, I have never, it has not been this rainy and gloomy. and cold for this extended period of time in Southern California since I was in high school that I can remember. It's just
26 inches of rain in the past couple months here.
That's nuts.
And we average, we're a desert here. It's 10 inches or less a year. That's what our average is. And that's a year. So we've already almost tripled our yearly average in the first 2 months, 3 months of the year.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you guys will be going Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern time. I will be going on. Oh, that was weird. What the heck just happened?
What time you're doing the? No, you're not doing the auction this weekend. It's next weekend.
No, that's next weekend. That's the 13th.
Yeah.
This
and,
Sunday,
and I'm keeping the stopwatch.
well, we're gonna. Okay, so I'll get this part out of the way. This Sunday, me and myself and Vinay will be streaming on the Fish Talk, and we're going to have Hector and Luke up talking about this stuff.
What stuff? I can't read it.
It's a plant.
Take it back a little bit.
You should know about this stuff. It's Hector's Everything Aquarium Plant Fertilizer. So we're going to have him up. We're going to talk about that.
Cool.
And then, yes, the 13th is the Fish Fam auction. And we're going to have some fish on here that we've never auctioned for people.
Well, that's awesome. Is there like a sneak preview, or can you say what they are, or you want to wait?
Yeah, I'm going to wait.
Dang it.
They gotta show up to see what it's going to be.
Steph,
Whatever.
just give them a little money.
Yeah.
Send them a check.
Send me a check, and I may do a preview.
Put your PayPal account there. Just put it in the.
Oh, she has it because I sent.
Oh, okay.
I bought stuff off her. But all right, everybody, it's been 2 hours. I want to thank everybody in the chat for hanging out with us, talking fish, and mutts came up too, some dogs. All the lurkers
right over here.
Yeah, that's a good dog. I want to thank Dr. Anthony, Vinay, Paul, and Steph for coming up tonight. Everybody have a good night.
Good night, everybody.